You decided to start your own business. Are you ready for the uncertainty of your success, for all the challenges, the self-doubt that lies ahead? Well, you shouldn't really be that much afraid. At the end of the day, with the availability of technologies and the internet, we have access to a lot of entrepreneurial stories of people who went before us and who can show us a few tips and tricks on how to make it on our own path. One of those exemplary individuals is Rupali Monga, who is still in the very inception of her entrepreneurial career, yet she's seen plenty of success, and I met her back in grad school where she already exhibited some of those traits, and I couldn't think of a better person to start this series with. You will hear her speak about different topics, from her corporate life to a transition into entrepreneurship, to the way she balances her personal and professional life, to a few small yet very impactful habits that you can develop yourself to make you a better professional and get you ready for that entrepreneurial step of your own. And we'll start where all the stories start, at the very beginning.
Hi, I'm Rupali Monga. I am a digital marketing strategist and a mom of one. I have a baby boy who's 18 months old. I work primarily with small business owners to help them, and primarily women. That's a strong passion of mine, equipping and empowering women to build businesses, be leaders in their own lives and in their professions, and also lead with confidence. So a lot of the work that I do is around working with female small business owners to equip and empower them to build their businesses, specifically leveraging digital marketing strategies and sales funnels. So I'll work very closely with them one-on-one to help them implement marketing campaigns in their business to then help them scale. I have a couple of different businesses. So that's one of my primary businesses, but we can get more into that in a little bit. In addition to that, I live in New Jersey. I'm originally from New York, Brooklyn, raised in Queens. I did my MBA at the University of Rochester, Simon School of Business, with a concentration in brand management and strategy. Prior to that, I was actually working on Wall Street. I was traveling all over the country. It was the best thing ever. I was working with financial advisors. I was the person that they hated because I would come in and tell them what they were doing wrong to prevent any sort of fraudulent activities going on in people's investment accounts, right? So that was fun. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I majored in finance was because I wanted a good backup for law, just in case law didn't work out. And I knew finance is finance, right? Like having a finance background will always do well for me. And so, yeah, I spent, all these years in Wall Street. And so there was a couple of things happening. One was that was also the time when the recession was happening. And out of the 9 people in my program, I was one of the 3, I think, left. Everybody else got laid off. I was fortunately in a good position and, everything was going well. So I was just like, seeing all of that made me very uneasy. 2, I didn't care for finance. So I was like, this is just like, why am I even here? I knew I didn't want to be where I was. I didn't know where I wanted to go, right? And I think a lot of people that start business school are kind of in the same boat. They want a career change, and I wanted a career change.
Now, this is what they would call in the business books the pivotal moment. You can take your professional career from that point on in various different directions, including the one where you stick it out and you stay in the same position for 10, 15, 20 years. You become real professional in that field, or you take a 90-degree turn. You might not know Rupali as well as I do, but you can guess which path she took.
When I was at Merrill and I decided this is not what I want to do, what I did know was I wanted to be in corporate. Like at that time, I actually didn't even think entrepreneurship was a possibility, right? Like in my family, I come from a family that appreciates security, stability. Entrepreneurship is not a thing, right? So I never even thought that was a possibility for me. So I thought I'm just going to get a good job and work at a good company that is reputable and looks good on my resume. That was really it when I was thinking about that I'm going to go to grad school. It's funny how life works out because I'm doing completely opposite than what I had envisioned at that time. Now, with that said, when I went to grad school, I ended up choosing a track, which is brand management. And brand management is usually where you're working within a corporation, a large or mid-sized corporation, and you're managing a business portfolio. You're ultimately the person responsible for that business's growth. And that was very attractive to me. And I think like subconsciously, like entrepreneurship is in my blood, but when you're not exposed to it, you don't know, right? And so when I went to grad school and I learned about this track, brand management, that was very appealing to me. I was like, oh, that would be amazing. I get to work at a corporation and I get to have ownership and I get to lead. And those are things that I really value in my life. And so I went down the brand management track. Now, again, I never thought about entrepreneurship. I never thought I'm going to have my own business. I just thought I'm going to own a business and a company. So cool.
Notice how that leap into the unknown helped Rupali discover something new about herself. The sense of ownership seeded what became the passion for entrepreneurship. On this channel, you know how much I talk about continuous search for new things, trying things out, trying to rediscover yourself through something completely different that you've never tried before. And it was really encouraging for me to see that someone like Rupali, who is very successful in her own right, arrived at the same point where I push all of you, my audience. Quick reality check though. What happens if the role that helped you discover that passion does not let you fully spread your wings?
When I decided to eventually leave, the way it happened is actually really, really interesting. This is why I believe in the law of attraction, okay? So it was May 1st of 2016, okay? And I was reading this book. It's called The Artist's Way, all right? And in that book, I forget the author's name, but she says, journaling is like a big part of the healing process and meditation, right? And I was very confused. I was very lost. I knew I didn't want to be there. I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know where my life was heading. So I started writing, okay? May 1st, 2016 was the first day I started writing. Every day for 3 weeks, I'm writing. Every morning, right? I write like 3 pages. And every single morning, I write about how much I want to leave my job and start something of my own. I just want to leave. I need to leave. I don't know what I'm going to do, etc. May 25th of 2016, my company, our business unit specifically, puts out an announcement saying that we are downsizing and we're giving people the opportunity to take a financial package if they would like and leave. Can you believe that? Right? Can you believe that? And I was like, no way, no, you're gonna give me money to leave? Okay, so I jumped on it, right? So I call my husband, and at that time, my fiance, and I'm like, oh my God, this and that. And I went to my boss, the director at that time. I said, I'm gonna take the package. He's like, no, this is not for you. I don't want you to go, don't leave. This is for, I need you to stay. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I need to go. I want to do something of my own. So I took the package and I left. I didn't have any plan. I didn't have anything set forth. And at that time when I took the package, I did also believe, like my mentality, like I think I was waiting for something, because the leap to quit your job is really, it's hard. And even for me, it was like, I was thinking about it for so long, but I couldn't pull the plug, right? But I listened to Tony Robbins a lot, right? He's been a huge part of my growth and a huge role model for me. And there's a saying that he always says, and he says, in order for you to succeed at the goal that you have in front of you, you need to burn the boats. And what he means by that is you need to burn the boats is like, if you always have a plan B, you're going to be half-assing it the whole time. You're going to have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And you know what? The 1 foot in is never going to be great because you always know you have 1 foot out. And that's, I've always been that type of a person, either go in or go home kind of a thing. And so that statement always resonated with me. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. But again, it's hard. But it's like the universe talking to you. Like for 3 weeks, that's all I wrote about. And then I got money to leave my job.
I can hear some of you saying it was pure luck, but I would argue that Rupali has been preparing for that move for some time now. She's been building that war chest. The journaling was just one of the ways for her to distill down the ideas that she had and she wanted to pursue. You've heard me say this multiple times on this channel. Luck does not exist. I'm ready to die on that hill. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And well, Rupali was prepared. So when opportunity arose, she took it.
I didn't have a plan on what I wanted to do. So what I did was I would just write. I'm like, okay, it took me like a couple of weeks to figure out like, what am I doing, right? Like, I didn't quit this job knowing exactly. So I would just write. That was the way for me to figure out what I wanted to do, honestly. I needed to put my thoughts on paper. I would just write every morning. Like, what am I good at? What do I not like? I created in the Artist Way, if you read that book, she really talks about how, for you to get clarity on where do you see your life? What do you want? I didn't even know what I wanted out of my life. Like, that's how it was. I couldn't see where I would be 5-10 years. That's where I started. I started there. Where do I see myself in 10 years? Working backwards, where do I see myself in 5 years? So I think that's the most important thing, right? Like, if you're gonna start a business, you have to get clear on where do you wanna be? Like, reverse engineer the process, right? Like, where do you want to be in 10 years? And if you don't know, that's okay, because I didn't either. Use whatever works for you. Some people, they just like meditating, whatever it is. For me, what worked for me was writing, right? I just had so many things like, well, I love helping people. This is how I started. I love helping people. I love marketing. I love this. I don't like this. You see, I was narrowing things down, right? And then finally, after a few weeks, I'm like, you know what? Like, I love helping people. I love marketing. I love making money, number one. And I love helping people make money, right? Like, I did it for a business. I was in corporate America. I was in product/brand management. I mean, like, that's what I did. So why don't I just use that? So that's when I started digital marketing consulting. And that's how I got into that space, where I would work with, at that time in the beginning, I was primarily working with like startup, like really new people who didn't have existing businesses. That then evolved into me working specifically with existing business owners who've made, multiple six figures, $1 million plus, and working with them. It was an evolution, right? Like, I started with working with really startup newbie business owners to then working with more seasoned business owners. Now, speaking of that, remember that self-reflection process that I went through in the first few weeks of quitting my job and not knowing what I would wanted to do? I created this, I got really clear where I wanted to be. And I'm still clear on it. It's still my mission, which is in the next 10 years, I want to equip and empower 1 million women on leadership, confidence, and business building. In order for me to equip and empower women to build $1 million businesses, I have to build one myself first. I want to build a business that is generating that much revenue, not because it's just about the money again, right? It's about the contribution, the impact that I'm making in society with whatever product or service I'm working on. For some of you that might be listening, if you're from corporate and have never done business before, you might be thinking, oh my God, it's, there's so many things going on. But this is one thing I can tell you. Success isn't a ladder, right? Like, you're not gonna just like walk up a ladder and be successful. No, there's gonna be lots of twists and turns. And you know what? You're a human being and you're capable of working on a lot of different things. If you have an idea that doesn't work out for you, do something else, right? It's a journey that we're going through. So for me, as I was thinking about, okay, now I wanna play bigger, how do I get there? And I had to start doing a lot of self-reflection. Again, I took that journal out and I started journaling. All right, how am I gonna get to that, $1 million mark business, right? Like, what is that for me? And that's kind of when I came down to looking at, like, what am I really passionate about? That's when I chose the health and wellness space. So that's what I'm currently working on launching a brand new product within the health and wellness space. And we're working with manufacturers, we're working with suppliers, working with influencers. It's really cool. And it's completely different than what I've done in the past, because now I'm going into the physical product space, and I've been in the service-based space, and they're completely different ball games. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. You can do whatever it is you want. If you want to be a consultant, you can. If you want to be, if you want to launch a brand new product, you can. The world is your playground, right? And that's kind of how I approach my entrepreneurship journey, because it is a journey. Like, there's no limitation to what I can do, right? Because I'm learning through the process.
I'll be completely honest. For me, that conversation was its own lesson, because I am on my own entrepreneurial journey. I learned a lot by listening to Rupali. It got me thinking about my own ideas, my own passion projects, and how I pursue them and how I go about them. Because don't get me wrong, you've heard her say this. It is a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of hours in and out trying to pursue your dream, because you cannot build a multi-million-dollar business and empower million-plus women to pursue the same entrepreneurial journey without putting that sweat, blood, and tears in the first place. Go big or go home. I asked Rupali for 3 tips and tricks that you can start practicing today to replicate her success.
there's three key things that I think have had a profound impact in my success and journey as an entrepreneur. One is journaling to really create clarity in the direction that I want to head, and even create clarity in my day to day. Like sometimes I'm like working on a project and I'm like, I don't know how to figure this out. I'll write about it, and I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I get ideas out of my journaling. Like, it's amazing. So journaling. Two is planning your day. That's very important, right? Get a planner if you're the write it out type of person, or you could do this on OneNote, whatever. There's lots of digital tools too. So planning your day. And third is you gotta nurture your mind. You have to find people that are already where you want to be and go listen to them speak. I am listening to, podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube videos when I'm taking a shower, when I'm driving, when I'm cooking. Like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. We have so much time, actually free time during our day to nurture our mind. It's unbelievable. I think I end up getting in like an hour, hour and a half every day just through that net time, which is downtime, basically, the showering, the driving, the cooking, cleaning. You could be making this stronger. And that is what's going to really ultimately get you to where you want to go.
Did you write those 3 points down? Do you have your own business idea that you're trying to pursue? And maybe you have some barriers that we can help you with. Stick them in the comment section below and make sure you ping Rupali. She did not make it that big yet, so she might have time to go and talk to you, or who knows, maybe you're the next collaborator who she will work with on the next $1 million idea. I enjoyed talking to her, I enjoyed sharing her story and learning a few tips and tricks for myself. As for you guys, the whole point of this kind of videos is for you to amass that knowledge base, but each one of us have our own path to pursue, so use this knowledge accordingly. Rupali, take it home.
I'm available on all social media, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, or LinkedIn. So reach out to me anywhere under, my name is Rupali Monga, and you'll find me. And I'd love to connect and speak with anyone that is, that has this desire, this burning desire to create something of their own and follow their dreams and create their own destiny. Like, I'm all about it, and I'm all about supporting people who want to do the same.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. I still remember that moment when I was walking out of the building and I was like, good riddance.